Hello everyone, Cindy Olin here with Create Your Own Luck in Love. Happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's already Wednesday this week and it's June. So we are in day 3 of our Summer of Love series this month. Okay, so today let's get right down to business. Let me know where you guys are from. What city, what state you're from. I always like to hear where everybody's from around the world or in the United States. So, first off, we are going to talk today about certain sabotaging behaviors or things that women unknowingly do that sabotage your chances or remove your chances for first, second, you end up going on a first date, but it doesn't lead you to a second or third date. So, and a possibility of actually sabotaging your chance for really creating lasting love. So I'm going to pop right in, and you guys, if you have any questions, that pop up. Sorry, you guys, I'm going to plug in I've got my phone here. I'm going to plug it in because it's like the battery's getting a little low. And I want to make sure I have plenty of time to chat with you guys today. Okay, so sabotaging behaviors that, hey Lori, how are you? That can prevent your chances for creating a long-lasting partnership or something that can actually turn into more than one date that might have inadvertently had a possibility. Okay, so we're going to talk about that today, but again, drop where you're from in the box because I love to hear about where people are from. And again, love it. Austin. Oh, that's one of my favorite places to visit. It's such a cool town. It kind of reminds me a little bit of where I grew up outside of Portland, Oregon. So, fun fact about me. Anyway, all right, so let's touch base so that I stay on track because you guys know I can go off on tangents. So I wanted to make sure I had some benchmarks to write about. Okay, so when you're on a first meeting, now it depends on how y'all have met. Y'all come back and see us sometime, Austin. It depends on how you guys have met. So let's just say you're transitioning from online to offline. Okay, so you're meeting for the very first time. Okay, and I'm going to give you 2 scenarios, right? So let's say you meet up at a restaurant, you're enjoying yourself, you have a drink of your choice, and then, it seems to be going really, really well, and then maybe you continue into dinner and you're sharing a bottle of wine. So whatever happens, right? Whatever ensues from there. If you don't drink, you're just sharing great conversation. Regardless, you're sharing great conversation. Next thing you know, you've been on the date 3 or 4 hours. And if you've met a man for the first time, that is what it does. If it doesn't make him as curious about you. So chances are you covered a lot of ground in that 3 to 4 hours or that time frame that you were together. So he's not as curious about getting to know you. So number 1, you might be spending too much time on a first meeting. So this is around honoring yourself, honoring your time, setting healthy boundaries, and yes, you want to meet the love of your life, but you don't want to spend too much time on a first meeting. Here's why. You don't know them very well. This first meeting, especially if you're going from offline to online, or online, you guys get it, right? I said that earlier about something else. Online to offline, it's literally a meet and greet. So you meet, you have a nice, you enjoy a nice coffee, you enjoy, a nice, conversation, appetizer, drink of your choice, and then, and depending on the setting, stay for an hour, hour and a half, and then you've got to go. You've got, an early day tomorrow, you've got things to do, and this has been lovely, and you sure hope you get to see him again. What that does is it creates tension. It makes him kind of curious about you. Wow, a lot of women tend to stay a lot longer. I really would love to learn more about her. So that first date I was telling you about, that, and I've known people that have literally done that, and they had a great time with a guy and he never calls, and they don't understand why. It's because he's not curious. It's because he doesn't, he's like, oh, she seems nice, but something inside of him doesn't feel motivated to get to know you more. Now, there's more about that too, and I'll explain this to you. This is something you need to know about men. Men remember how you made them feel. Not how hot you were. Yes, you might have looked beautiful or whatever, but they remember how they felt when they were around you long after the date. So if there is something kind of special about you or your way of being, they remember that, and they get curious to get to know you more. Okay, so first, self-sabotaging activity, too much time. Second one, and this is a big one. It's it's not being present in the date. So, and this could happen for a variety of different reasons why you're not present. You might not be present because you're nervous. You might think this guy is really attractive, or you frankly just get nervous when you meet people, right? Or you're not present because you're thinking about your grocery list, the things you have to do in your day. So you want to set yourself, in your evening after you leave meeting this guy. So this guy isn't going to feel very good when he's around you. He's going to question whether or not you're interested. And chances are, if a guy has to think too hard about whether you're interested in him or not, he's not going to move forward. Here's why. There's a whole lot of people out there that are interested, that do seem to want what he wants. Men do want to work. They do want to pursue a woman. But if they don't really know, they don't have a clear, green light that there's a sign that she could be interested, then, excuse me, he's not going to move forward. And your body language tells a lot. So if you're smiling, if you're looking into his eyes, if you're engaged in the conversation, and you're not a million miles away. So I used to say this all the time, and many of you, if you've known me for a while or been following me, have heard me say this. I used to say that I wore man repellent because I would go out on these dates in my, early 20s or whatever, in my 20s, quite a bit. And I would think, oh, this guy is so cute. He could be the one. And I would be a million miles away. I would be thinking about our, where we might get married, by the beach. Would we do a destination wedding, or would it be a big church wedding, right? You get what I'm saying. I was not even present. I didn't even know the guy. I knew a couple of things about him. I knew that he smelled good, he looked great, and, he had a job. Or he was in a place where I thought was okay at the time, right? But if you're doing, a guy senses that. And so he's gonna feel like, all right, I mean, she's cute, or she seems all right, but it's kind of like lights are on, nobody's home. So remember, they reflect on how you make them feel. So I was checked out. I wasn't present half of the time, but I thought I was until I scratched the surface a little bit deeper. So I want to save you on that. Try to stay present. So here's some things you can do to stay present. Take a couple deep breaths, right? Set yourself up for success in going on the date in the first place. Don't go on the date when it's totally inconvenient for you. You're feeling rushed, you're feeling anxious, like maybe you work a really demanding job, you're off work at 6 p.m., you're meeting this guy at 7, you live in New York, you're meeting him, you're in Midtown, you're meeting him clear on the other side of town. Is that setting you up for success? My guess is no. But if you look at your life and look at what's going to set me up for optimum success while not being totally unavailable to date, right? So maybe meeting at 8 p.m. is better for you, or 7:30, rather than rushing, right? And making sure that you've had a little bit of time to transition out of your day. Or if you work out after work, you go do that really quick and you get your body moving. You feel rejuvenated. I knew a woman that would literally go and go to yoga or take one of her spin classes before she would meet a date. And then she would get herself ready, and she was super fired up and connected to them. Her endorphins were going. She felt clear. So for you guys, thinking about doing things that will make you more open and excitable and present during the date. The other thing is too, if you get nervous before you meet people, and I think a lot of people do, okay? Something that's great to do is call a friend before your dates, have her on speed dial or whatever, and let her know this, that really makes you laugh and creates some lighthearted energy. What that does is it makes you go into your meeting with what? Some fun, lighthearted energy. You've been joking around with this girlfriend. You've been having a good time. Or you're just, the more that you talk before a date, the more that the more that you will be able to open up to them. So that's another thing that will keep you engaged during a date, and also get really curious about him. And don't worry about him not asking you a ton of questions about you, because the masculine energy tends to share about themselves. Men, when they're together, they're usually not saying things like, "Hi, how are you? Did you have a good day?" Some men do that by nature, but others do not. Men connect, and they usually connect shoulder to shoulder, by the way. They share information. So don't get offended, and really go into the meeting with, a lot about yourself. Find out about him and find out the things that you want to know. And I would also avoid talking too much about work or business on a first date. Find out what he's passionate about, what he sees his life like, without sounding like a complete interview in the next 5 years. Does he, what's he passionate about doing in this world? And then you get to share something about you that you're passionate about. Or maybe he really loves his dogs, and maybe you don't have any dogs, but you do love them. So you ask him about his dog, and where he got his dog, why he got his dog. You know, things like that, it creates a deeper connection. And having fun, smiling, being engaged, putting just a quick touch on the forearm. It creates a little bit of engagement and also intimacy. And you want to end the date before he wants you to. You do. You want to end that date, you know, especially if you're meeting for coffee or something. You know, an hour is sufficient. So you both have finished your coffee or hot tea or whatever the heck you drink, right? And you say, gosh, this has been great. And you mean it. I sure hope I get to see you again. And even if you're not sure about the guy, because I know, ladies, you guys might be thinking, well, I go out on dates and I'm not sure about him after the first date. Remember this: women fall in love with their ears, men fall in love with their eyes. And you don't have to be a perfect 10 for the man to fall in love with you. It's all about your energy. It's about your heart, soul, mind, body, spirit. Men are in love with many different shapes and sizes. You are beautiful. Okay? So I want you to hear that. And I don't know why I just said that. It just felt like that had to come through me right now. So I hope that helps you. You know, another thing too is I've given you guys 2 tips. I'm going to give you the 3rd tip. And again, I hope this is helpful. So feel free to post any questions. It's really nice to see you, Patricia. Dave Cadwell, been a long time no see. Old high school buddy of mine. Nat, oh gosh, it's good to see you. Anyone that's here that you've got any, you know, anything that's going on in your dating life, any challenge, we're going to be here all month long. Myself, my team, we're here to support you and really having the summer of love, because this is what I can tell you. There's 2 things that I do know for sure based on case studies I've done and I've seen over the years. Summer is the best time to connect with people in general, right? There's so much going on. And, you know, I'm from the Pacific Northwest originally. I live in San Diego now, as many of you know. But, gosh, summertime was when it was literally everybody came outside. You didn't see them for 9 months, and then summertime would happen, right? So just remember that you can actually open up your energy to meeting people anywhere you go. So being prepared and feeling your best no matter where you're at. Okay, so the 3rd thing, because I promised you 3 tips to not sabotage your success early on when you're getting to know someone. So the 3rd one is this. It goes along with number 2, but I'm going to add something else because I do that. But so thank you for bearing with me, guys. So the 3rd one is a lack of interest. And let me explain that to you. You might think, well, Cindy, I'm not interested in being on a date. I'm obviously out there. I'm listening to you. You know, I really want to meet a great guy for me. Well, I think many people can fall into this trap and be guilty of this. So when you're meeting with someone, when you're on a date, put away your cell phone. Don't even look at it, because it's not present and it's actually disrespectful. And for a man, you know, imagine how you feel if a man keeps looking at his cell phone. Now, if he says to you, oh my goodness, you know, there's qualifying things, right? If he says, hey, I really do want to meet you. I'm really excited we're here today. And I have my cell phone out because I'm expecting a call from my child's school. Possibly, I may need to step away to take this call for a moment. I hope that's okay, right? So think about that and show the person the same respect if there's something else going on for you. People are pretty understanding but you want to be present with them, right? If you're present, if you're lighthearted and fun and smiling and in the moment, right? If you're not present, like I said, or lack of interest, which could be manifesting itself and looking at your cell phone or looking across at somebody else, or not really being, hey Helene, good to see you, not being really as interested in the conversation. And that's, staying grounded and present. And that could simply be that maybe you feel like, he may not be my kind of guy, or I just don't know if I find him that interesting. Well, he's a human being, for crying out loud. And like your gift on this earth, he's a gift on this earth. So take the time to be interested and practice being interested in what they're about and who they are as an individual, and make the most of your time, because you don't know, it could be a new friend that leads you to the love of your life, or it could be anything. Just stay open. I remember years ago, I used to be a high-end matchmaker. Many of you may or may not know that about me, and that's how I became a coach. That's part of how I became a coach, is because I was coaching so many people on how not to sabotage their success in love, right? So the other side, so one of the things that happens within that is feeling like, oh, he doesn't look exactly like his picture, or whatever it is. It's just make the most out of your time and think of what's positive that's coming through for this, for you. Okay, I hope that helps. Another thing that women will do, and I see this on the first couple of dates, that sabotages a chance for the future, is a woman is giving her power away without knowing it. So if he's trying to stay longer with you, women, we have a lot of women, I don't want to say every woman, but a lot of women out there, we have this people pleaser mentality where he might be like, oh, let's stay, for another drink, or, how about if we go for a walk, or how about if we do this, or whatever. And if, some of this you've got to use your intuition, but if you got, if you're spending a little bit too much time, or you're not quite, what's the word I'm looking for right now? You're just acquiescing to what they want. They feel it. So you're not standing firm in your power and what your next step was, simply because you feel bad or you feel like you should go. Because I'm here to tell you that men find it attractive if you're honoring yourself, your time, your plans. But if you find yourself saying things like, oh, well, I'm supposed to meet with, my girlfriend to help her out with XYZ, or help her pack her house for moving, but she can wait. What that message says to him is that you put things off for the bigger, better deal in front of you. And even though he may be trying to enroll you or entice you into doing that right now, he's discerning and he actually thinks about it. And if you say something like, gosh, I would love to, it's so great, but I promised my girlfriend that I would help her pack her house tonight, and I like to honor my word, right? So you guys, I hope this has been helpful today. I could talk for hours and hours about early dating conversations and, having a great time and just being present, allowing yourself to receive, and not taking care of him or his feelings. Just saying, gosh, this has been great. And if you can't get a read on whether or not he knows you're interested, you can say things like, gosh, I sure hope I get to see you again, or you're talking about something. Refer a few jokes and be a little bit lighthearted. If that's not you, you can always say, gosh, if you were to ask me to go, take a walk through the museums at Balboa Park this weekend, I might say yes. Maybe reference something you guys were talking about. If you were to ask me to meet your dog this weekend and check out that dog park you guys like to go to, I might say yes. And you're not pushing yourself on them, but you're having a little bit of fun. You're, again, continuing to drop that proverbial handkerchief. You're allowing a little bit of seduction and play to come out, and giving him permission to say, oh yeah, okay, I want to see her again. She would say yes. She's interested in getting to know me. Awesome. Win-win. And if the jury's out on this guy and you're not quite sure, given the fact he seems to fit into what I call your fabulous five, or the, what you desire as benchmarks for your partner, so those values that you desire, if he seems to, then I highly recommend getting together with them again. Okay? So I'm sending you guys love and happy Wednesday, and keep me posted. Let me know how this is going for you. And again, feel free to post any questions, comments that you have, or anything else that, I've got a whole myriad of topics that we're going to be discussing during this month. But if you have anything that's on your heart that you'd like to learn about, please let me know. I'm really open. All right, sending love. Bye.